On this episode, we talk about when you should post your content online, edutaining the consumer, and responding to engagement. Welcome everybody to DISRUPTu episode 28. I'm your host Ryan Thogmartin, and this is the funeral profession's most disruptive web show. Question 1.
When should our funeral homes be posting content?
Yes, so this is a question we get quite a bit. When should funeral homes be posting content on Facebook? It really varies. So Facebook gives you Facebook Insights. So when you're admin of a Facebook page, you can click on the Insights tab at the top of the page, and Facebook will show you the time of day when the highest percentage of your users are online. Here's the caveat. The thing is that every evening from 7 to 9 or 10 p.m., you always are going to have more fans online than pretty much any other time of the day. The thing is, you would think that that's the most relevant time to post because that's when the largest percentage of your audience is online. However, that's when everybody else is posting as well, because it doesn't really matter what Facebook page insight you look at. From in the evenings, there's always going to be more people online because we're not at work, we're doing things around the house, it's after dinner, we're relaxing, we're with family, and we're browsing. So that is something to take into consideration. What I would recommend is that you export out all of your data. Export out when your posts are going out, the engagement rate, the engagement percentage, the reach, and start looking at what specific times of the day are you getting the most engagement, which is going to help you reach more people. So maybe the organic reach is not going to be as high because there's not as many people online. However, with the engagement, your reach is much higher. So really what we do is export all of that data out to really find the times when we're going to reach the most people and get the most engagement. Reach is great, but if no one's really engaging, you're not spreading that brand further. So there's not a specific answer that I can give you on, yes, post on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. for the most engagement and reach. Sundays are a great day to post because, again, there's less content going through the news feeds from other brands that you have to compete against. So you need to look at your analytics and your insights, export that data, go post by post, and figure out when you're posting, test different times to see when you're getting the most reach and getting the most engagement.
You mentioned Edutain in your presentation. What does that mean exactly?
Edutain. So this is a word that was taken from Mari Smith, who's a great marketer and Facebook expert, actually works for Facebook, hired her to educate small businesses. What I mean by edutain is this: your content needs to not only educate, but it has to entertain. Meaning that you're a funeral home. Like, you're not putting out, like, the content that's coming from a funeral home is not going to be the most fun content that's out there. There's a lot of things that other brands can get away with that funeral homes cannot. So the added value is going to be the differentiator on whether or not you're building that relationship that you want to build with the consumer, and they're responding to the content that you're putting out. So when you do anything, any post, you should focus on 51% engagement, meaning that in every interaction that your brand has with somebody else, your brand is providing the most value. So you're educating, but you also have to entertain. That's the reason we do a show like this. We try to make the show fun, lighthearted. I'm not a real serious guy. My personality and bravado are a little bit different than most. I'm not in a suit and tie. So we're trying to educate, at the same time keep you entertained, because you see value in that. If we're warning our time to something, there needs to be a value exchange there. So make sure that you're always giving more value than you're getting from the consumer. In this exchange, I am giving you more value than most of you are going to give me back in return for this information. So educate and entertain. Focus on content that is shareable, because that's where you start to have the virality, and you're going to touch the most people and build the most relationships.
How should we respond to engagement on our Facebook page? Good, bad, or indifferent?
This is one of the biggest mistakes that funeral homes make, period, is not engaging with the consumer. Whether or not the engagement from the consumer is a comment that's negative, positive, or just in general indifferent, neither or, it's important that you're responding and engaging back with the consumer. Facebook is a two-way communication platform. It's a relationship tool. It's engagement. It's not a sales platform. The byproduct of these relationships and this engagement is working a user down the funnel for sales. We've talked about that at length. But it is extremely important that you're using Facebook as a platform to engage with your audience. So if someone makes a comment thanking you for a post or makes a comment on a post, that comment, regardless of what it is, deserves some sort of response and or acknowledgement from your brand, especially if that comment has to do with something negative. It's highly important that you're responding to negative reviews or negative comments. Though they don't happen a lot on funeral home pages, it's extremely important that you're acknowledging that a comment or action was taken. Think of it this way. When we go through our news feed, when you browse Facebook, there is a filter that you run through before you engage with content. Before you click the like button, before you make a comment, we all subconsciously filter through and think of this interaction is going to be seen by my wife, my kids, my parents, my pastor, my friends, my business colleagues. A lot of people are going to see this action. Do I really want to comment, share, or like this post? So every user filters through that before they engage with a piece of content. It's highly important that the content that you're putting out is valuable, like we just talked about, and that you're acknowledging that interaction if they leave a comment, because someone took 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds out of their day to engage with your content. Getting 1 second to 3 seconds is extremely valuable. When you can get more than that, somebody leaves a comment that absolutely deserves a response from your funeral home. So do not let engagement with your brand go unnoticed. All right, that wraps up episode 28. Until next time, keep disrupting.